What's going on, guys? This is Ryan with the RK Outpost, and we have a few things Star Wars related to talk about today. One of them is Rian Johnson making a comment that just further confirms this man should never have been allowed close to Star Wars. We have a Star Wars actor who bashes the Star Wars prequels, and then we also have a voice actor wrapped up in all the controversy going on right now about making sure that the person who's the voice of a character looks exactly like them. Well, at least as long as that character is a minority. So let's get into that first. And you guys have probably seen this. The Simpsons will no longer let white actors voice non-white characters. This is getting absolutely insane. The amount of people bending over to try to apologize for something that there needs to be no apology for. To try to virtue signal so hard by, oh, we've made such big mistakes. We're never going to let that happen again. It didn't just happen for the Simpsons. It happened here. Jenny Slate, who did voice this character, stepped down because of her white privilege. Kristen Bell did the same thing for a character she played in Central Park. And then Family Guy Cleveland voice actor Mike Henry steps down from the role. And we have to read his tweet here because I do think it's very relevant to what we're about to talk about. Mike Henry: "It's been an honor to play Cleveland on Family Guy for 20 years. I love this character, but persons of color should play characters of color. Therefore, I will be stepping down from the role." What does that even mean? Persons of color should play characters of color? So is it okay if a person of color, say a Latino man, voices Cleveland? Cleveland's black, that person's Hispanic. Does that make a difference? He's a person of color, isn't he? And that's the problem. When you start going down this insane SJW rabbit hole, you can never be right enough. Something is always going to be wrong. And that brings us to the case here of Phil Lamarr. Now, this does come to us from Ichibaka. Disney Star Wars is dumb. Highly recommend checking out his blog. He does great work. But Phil Lamarr, a leading name in hypocrisy and stupidity. Now, Phil Lamarr does play a few characters in Star Wars, Clone Wars, and Rebels. He plays Kit Fisto, and he also is the voice of Bail Organa. You know, Bail Organa, someone who is played by a Latino character in the Star Wars prequels. But Phil Lamarr is something that doesn't really make any sense, though, because Phil Lamarr's a black man. Phil Lamarr is a black man, and he's playing a Hispanic character. So I guess people of color should be playing people of color, huh? But that's not the only role that Phil Lamarr has played. He also played Samurai Jack. He was Samurai Jack. But, I mean, he doesn't look Asian, does he? He looks black to me. So let's see exactly what Phil Lamarr said. And obviously, Itchy makes a ton of great points about James Earl Jones voicing Darth Vader, a black character, voicing a white character. Should Scooby-Doo be voiced by a dog? Exactly. But this is what Phil Lamarr says. "Anybody trying to create false equivalencies about underrepresented minorities, people of color, women, voicing majorities, whites and males, in animation, keep my name the F out ya mouth." That's what Phil Lamarr says. Of course, right? Because false equivalencies. Because if you say, wait, why is it okay for a black character to play a white character, but not okay for a white actor to play a black character? That's a false equivalency, evidently, according to Phil Lamarr. But it's only according to Phil Lamarr now. That's not the way he used to think. Let's see what he stated in the past. Look at this question on the Samurai Jack Reddit. Again, he played Samurai Jack, an Asian character. He's not Asian. "Hey, Phil. Longtime fan throughout your vast career. I've always wondered, does it feel strange being cast to voice white characters?" Because, I mean, his voice acting record is crazy, right? I mean, there are a ton of things that he has voiced in his career. And he's a very good voice actor as well. I think if he finds a part, he should do literally whatever part they think he's suited for. If that's Samurai Jack, that's fine. If it's a white character, if it's a black character, it doesn't matter. Nobody cares. No normal people care about this. God. Let's look at this question. Does it ever feel like regression, given that atypical black roles are finally becoming more common? No judgment here, just wondering how you feel about it. 3 years ago, Phil Lamarr: "A person's voice has no color. A voice has many things: culture, history, attitude, but what it doesn't have is a race. It feels no stranger to play a white character than an alien or a bird, a rapper, or a person from a different country. Unless I'm playing the part of an African American actor from California who is standing in a recording booth, I'm always going to be interpreting a character. Wow, what level-headed thoughtfulness. What a normal response. That's exactly how literally the vast majority of people feel. But I guess things change when you start to become part of Hollywood culture, when it starts to become socially acceptable to just be racist only to a certain group of people, the people in power. That's what it happens. Phil Lamarr has apparently changed his mind about voice not having a race, now that the collective has ordered the abject stupidity of this new program in all of its drones. And of course, that wasn't the last interaction he had. If a person's voice has no color, then you explicitly do not want more roles to go to POC. You want it to go whoever does the best job. His previous statement on this and this statement seem to be at odds. Then he tries to say this: voices don't have a color, but actors do. And some colors are much more widely represented in US animation than others. If you believe in fairness, it makes sense for that reality to factor in casting decisions. What a joke these people are. And just to be clear, by these people, I mean SJWs. And then Shinuko said, so why'd you take away a role from a potential Asian voice actor in Samurai Jack? Or are Asian voice actors too represented to you in Western animation? And that's exactly what we're talking about. You cannot, it is never enough. Once you get down this path, you can never be woke enough. You can never give up enough. You can never give up enough of your privilege. Something is always wrong. And of course, like we stated, he did take away that Latino character's voice actor from a Latino voice actor. How dare you, Phil Lamarr? But that was not the only thing we saw from Star Wars yesterday. You know, that was Phil Lamarr. We showed you his tweet. We also saw Rian Johnson. I'm not going to spend too much time on this, but Rian Johnson, just every time he speaks, seems to go just that much further on how we all know he should never have been part of Star Wars to begin with. Now, it comes from this tweet. Scott Malthouse, say a genuinely nice thing about the Star Wars prequels. Shouldn't be that hard. The prequels are incredible, in my opinion. I would say my favorite Star Wars movie is Revenge of the Sith. I have a poster right behind me. Now, if I was going to say the best, maybe I might say Empire Strikes Back. But my favorite absolutely is Revenge of the Sith. I love the prequels. Look at what Rian Johnson says. Lucas made a gorgeous 7-hour long movie for children about how entitlement and fear of loss turns good people into fascists. That is what he got from the Star Wars prequels. Yes, George Lucas from 99 to 2005 was trying to tell a story to children, warning them about fascism. Yes, I'm sure that's exactly what George Lucas had in mind. And, you know, we can talk about the whole for children thing, as we could pull up different scenes of Anakin killing children, of him beheading Count Dooku at his feet, an unarmed person, of him burning in Mustafar. Yeah, all those things. You know, the ones that when I showed my 7-year-old, he just bawled. He cried when he saw what happened to Anakin at Mustafar, because it's pretty brutal. It's rated PG-13 for a reason. And the idea that this person who thinks this was given a Star Wars movie to do whatever he wanted with goes to show you how out of touch Lucasfilm is, and how they just handed it over to this man to further destroy George's legacy. But he wasn't the only one talking about the prequels. You also had Alan Tudyk. Alan Tudyk, the voice actor for K2SO in Rogue One, has this good to say. Say a genuinely nice thing about the Star Wars prequels. They led to Rogue One. You can't say anything good about them. You have to talk about your Listen, Rogue One's not a garbage movie. I almost said it's a garbage movie. It's not garbage. It's boring and uninteresting and unoriginal and not memorable at all. You put a little battle at the end and you have a scene with Darth Vader that doesn't make any sense, where, yeah, Darth Vader looks like a badass, and then, just a couple hours later, in the story of Star Wars, he fights like an old man, where he could have just, reached out with the Force and grabbed the guy who had the plans while he was busy grabbing everything else around. But no, it looked cool, right? So it's a good Star Wars movie. Rogue One is boring. I don't think it's that good, but he's saying there's nothing good about the prequels. The only thing he can say about them is that they led to Rogue One. What a piece of garbage Alan Tudyk is. His character may have been the best person in Rogue One, in all honesty, but again, that's not saying much. Another Lucasfilm actor talking crap about George Lucas's Star Wars. What a shock, right? What a shock. But that's pretty much, I wanted to cover those quick things. Each of them wasn't enough to make a video, but I wanted to kind of wrap it all up in one. What do you think about all of this? The voice actor, the entire voice actor thing is just insane to me. Absolutely insanity. And it's just, I don't know if this is going to stop anytime soon. The whole thing going on in culture right now, I don't know if it's going to stop. I think it's just going to keep perpetuating while the normal people in society, the majority of people, just keep quiet because they don't want to get canceled either. I think that's what's going on right now. And then let me know about Rian Johnson and Alan Tudyk and their thoughts on the prequels. Smash a like button, subscribe to the channel, ring the bell for notifications, share this video out there, and I will talk to you later. Thanks for watching, everyone, and a huge shout out to my patrons. I appreciate you guys so much. Want to follow me on Twitter or Instagram? Check out the description below. You'll find links to my P.O. box and my Patreon as well. I'll talk to you guys later.